Welcome to Veteran Exposed Toxins, your go-to educational hub and support network, battling the VA for veteran jet fuel and other toxic exposure disability benefits.
Hey, welcome. Trying to figure out the world of VA benefits can feel, well, super overwhelming, right? But it really doesn't have to be. In this explainer, we're going to give you a clear roadmap and break it all down so you can turn that complexity into clarity. So just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about here, let's start with this number, 24 million. That's roughly how many veterans and their survivors could be eligible for VA benefits by 2025. I mean, that's a massive community, and the system we're about to explore was built to serve every single one of them.
And at the very core of this entire system is a really powerful mission. It's so much more than just words on a screen. It's a promise to honor service by delivering the benefits that have been earned. And that's what we're here to do, figure out how you can access that promise.
Okay, so first things first, let's kind of pull back the curtain on the organization itself. Because before we dive into all the different benefits, just understanding the basic structure of the VA is a huge first step in learning how to navigate it. So the VA is basically split into three main parts. You've got the VHA, the Veterans Health Administration. They handle all the healthcare stuff. Then there's the NCA, the National Cemetery Administration, which covers burial and memorial benefits. And the branch we're really going to focus on today is the VBA, the Veterans Benefits Administration. They're the ones who handle all the financial benefits we're about to get into.
All right, now let's get to the good stuff, the real heart of it. In this next section, we're going to cover the essential benefits the VA offers, and just as important, how they figure out who is eligible.
So the VA has a ton of different benefits, right? Everything from healthcare and education benefits to home loans. And while all of these are incredibly important, today we're really going to zero in on one of the biggest ones, disability compensation.
Okay, this is absolutely key. To get disability compensation, you have to prove something called service connection. I mean, this is the single most important part of any claim. It's the proof, the direct link that shows your current medical issue is because of something that happened during your time in service. Without that link, a claim just doesn't go anywhere.
So here's a question I hear all the time. What happens if you have more than one service-connected issue? This is where things get a little confusing for a lot of people. The VA has to combine those disability ratings, and you'd probably think they'd just add them together. But nope, it's not that simple.
This is what people call VA math, and it can be a little weird. Instead of just adding ratings, the VA calculates things based on your remaining efficiency. Think about it like this. You start at 100% healthy. A 40% disability rating leaves you 60% efficient. Your next rating, let's say it's 20%, gets applied to that leftover 60%, not the original 100. So 20% of 60 is 12. That 12 gets added to your 41st, which gives you a 52% combined rating. Then they just round it to the nearest 10.
And this slide really shows you why that matters. Look at the difference. If you just added them up, you'd get 70%. But with the official VA method, those same ratings combine to 57%, which then rounds up to 60%. Understanding this difference is absolutely critical.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about something that's been a total game changer recently, the PACT Act. This is one of the biggest expansions of VA benefits in history, and it's so important for any veteran who might have been exposed to toxic stuff like burn pits or Agent Orange.
So what's the big deal with the PACT Act? Well, it's all about these new presumptive conditions. And this is huge because it means if you served in a certain place during a certain time and you later get one of these conditions, the VA just assumes it's service-connected. You don't have to spend all that time and energy proving the link yourself. This is a massive, massive shift for millions of veterans.
Okay, so how does this all actually play out in the real world? Let's move on and walk through the modern claims process itself. It's really undergone a huge transformation from the old days of paper files to a mostly digital system.
So, you can forget about those old images of giant paper files getting shipped all over the country. Those days are pretty much gone. Today, nearly 100% of compensation claims are processed electronically, which makes the whole thing a lot faster and more efficient for everybody.
So, the journey of a claim usually follows these 5 basic steps. It all starts with what's called an intent to file. And listen, this is super important because it locks in your potential start date for getting paid. After you send in the real claim, the VA gathers all the evidence. A specialist reviews everything, and then finally you get that decision packet in the mail.
All right, you want a pro tip? Something that can seriously speed things up? Look into filing what's called a fully developed claim. All this means is you give the VA all of your evidence at once, right from the start. Since they don't have to go digging for records, these claims can get put on a kind of fast track. Look, sometimes you get a decision back, and it's just not what you were hoping for. But it is not the end of the road.
If you don't agree with the VA's decision, let's talk about your options and, more importantly, where you can find some expert help.
So back in 2019, the whole appeals process got a massive overhaul with the Appeals Modernization Act, or AMA for short. The whole point of the new system is to be more veteran-friendly and to give you way more choice and control over how your case gets reviewed.
So under this new system, you basically have 3 different lanes you can choose from. First, a supplemental claim. That's what you do if you have new evidence to add. Second is a higher level review. That's when you ask a more senior person to just take a fresh look at the same evidence. And third, you can appeal directly to the board and have a veterans law judge review your case.
Okay, I know. Looking at all of these steps, all these options, it's a lot. It is totally normal to feel overwhelmed. But here's the most important thing I can tell you. You are not supposed to do this by yourself. You don't have to go it alone.
There are literally professionals whose entire job is to help you with this, and it costs you nothing, zero. Groups called Veteran Service Organizations, or VSOs, you've probably heard of them, like the VFW or AMVETS, have trained reps just for this. Plus, your state or even your county government has veteran service officers who can guide you through the entire thing.
So, we've covered a lot, right? From the big picture mission to the key benefits, all the way through the claims process and exactly where to find expert help. The system might seem complicated, but it is absolutely navigable. You can do this. So the only real question left is, now that you understand the path, what's your first step going to be?
Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to receive additional tools, updates, notice of new resources and videos.